everybody, it's Linda Chatmon here, and I had to get on, and not because they've just changed so much. I'm going to be doing like little mini clips so that you guys can get it because the FAR has completely been overhauled. There's some good things, there's some not so great things, but you guys need to be aware because it's definitely going to change how you do business with the federal government. Um, First of all, I kind of want to give you, a little bit of backdrop. This is Executive Order 14240, and it is called Eliminating Waste and Saving Taxpayer Dollars by Consolidating Procurement. And guys, when I tell you that that is exactly what they've done, they're consolidating procurement. So let me just give you the three major ways that you can be awarded contracts. I mean, there's a ton of them, but let me give you you know, three different ways that are being impacted by this executive order. All right, the first one is, you know how when you go out and go to sam.gov and you see all the opportunities listed out there and you find something that you want to bid on and you bid on it? Okay, well, that's called open market. Open market is when the government puts its requirements or any agency puts its requirements out on SAM so that, whoever's eligible. Sometimes it's a set aside, sometimes it's, for small businesses, sometimes it's for minorities, sometimes it's what is called full and open. Full and open means that anybody can bid. All right. So that's what most people are used to. And it's, that's what most people, call it. That's what most people are accustomed to. Open market gives everybody an opportunity. Then there is what is called simplified acquisitions. Simplified acquisitions, which, by the way, the threshold has been increased to 350,000. It used to be 250,000. So simplified acquisition is simply those types of contract awards that are usually negotiated. It doesn't go out for bid. It's sort of like, just think of it as marketing to a commercial customer. You're knocking on doors. Hey, do you need something today? I got it. Yes, I have a credit card. And those are. And then you got BPAs too. BPAs are blanket purchase agreements. But blanket purchase agreement is a contract vehicle. All right. So when you hear me talk about contract vehicles, that means something that has been in place that has already identified you as a vendor based on certain sets of criteria that you gave. Okay. So you're talking about GSA schedule, OASIS, 8A stars, Navy Seaport, FAA EFAS. Every agency pretty much has a contract vehicle that they use in order to procure contracts on behalf of their agency. All right. And so having a contract vehicle is crucial because you can't just show up at a government agency's door and say, hey, I want to do business with you. And even if they want to do business with you, you wouldn't have a way for them to do it. Sort of like it's like going to Walmart and seeing all that stuff, but they don't have a checkout line. There's no way to buy it from you. So those are the three areas that are going to be most impacted because now what used to not be a mandate, because using the GSA schedule, and for those of you who don't know what the GSA schedule is or what the GSA administration does, basically they're the purchasing department for the government, but they've never been mandated. They were just an option that agencies could use to help them procure goods and services. Okay, so that's the backdrop. And now I'm getting ready to get into exactly what this executive order does and how it impacts those three areas. Okay. First thing I'm going to do is give you a few definitions. And you can pull this, by the way, this executive order. You can just go to my website, go to my store, everywhere, lindachatmon.com, www, make sure you put the www.lindachatmon.com. You go there and you can get to every one of my places. You can get to my store, you can book a meeting, whatever you need to do, you can take care of it there. But I will have this posted so that you guys can have access to it. So now just kind of listen and don't worry about it because I'll make sure that you have access to it. You can just go and download it. Okay. All right. So let's get with it. So definitions. For this, it says administrator. This means administrator of general services. That means GSA. Agency. Agency means everything, or excuse me, every government agency that is out there. Okay. Agency head, of course, you know what that is. Common goods and services. means the common government-wide, you hear what it says? Government-wide categories defined by the OMB in conjunction with the Leadership Council. Okay. Indefinite delivery contract vehicle. You may have heard them called IDIQs, but those are contract vehicle, meaning indefinite delivery, indefinite quantity, meaning, hey, I'm making sure that you are getting you're getting awarded, but you're going to still have to compete for contracting, for task orders. So that's where task order management comes in. So you got to make sure that that if you that you understand that an IDIQ is just that. It doesn't have a dollar value attached to it. Sometimes they'll give you a minimum threshold for like $100. Other times they won't, but it's basically a vendor list, a preferred vendors list. I think state and local government, that's what they call it. They call it preferred vendor lists. So make sure that if you're not pursuing those, that you do. I'll talk a little bit more about it. GSA schedule is my go-to contract vehicle. It's the easiest one to get on. You don't have to have, you can now use your employment status as past performance for your company. Just a whole lot of things. And that's why I'm going to break down everything itty bitty steps, because it's just a lot. So today I am just going to go over this particular executive order, explain what it is, and then I'm going to want you to go to my website and get the Small Business Survival Kit. It's only $27, but I've got everything in there. I've got the executive orders. I've got all the reports. I've got everything and how it's going to impact you. You also get a one-on-one consult with me to see how it's going to impact you specifically. So go out there, go in my community, because I'm going live all the time in my community. My community is my school. You can see that in my bio. So all kinds of information as it relates to this. It is called F.A.R and Beyond. You'll see it everywhere, F.A.R and Beyond. That means that I'm giving you information and educating you on the changes that are about to happen in F.A.R. Okay. Now that we know what the definitions are, let me tell you the 3 areas, guys. And this is major. Procurement. Okay. Within 60 days of the date of this order, agency heads shall, in consultation with the agency's senior procurement officials, submit to the administrator proposals pursuant to 40 U.S.C. 101, 40 U.S.C. .501, or other relevant authorities to have the GSA conduct domestic procurement with respect to common goods and services for the agency where permitted by law. Guys, stop. Do you know what that means? That within 60 days, now this was back in March, so they're running a little bit behind, but know what's happening on the back end, what's going on behind the scenes. They had 60 days, every single government agency. Remember, this was not a mandatory contract vehicle. This was just an extra contract vehicle that the government used. But this particular executive order said, hey, we got too many contract vehicles out here. Let's just kind of streamline that. All right. So what they've done now is they're mandating that every single government agency create a proposal within the next 60 days to give to GSA all of their procurement, because most of the time they've been procuring it on their own contract vehicles, using simplified acquisitions, doing all kind of other, contracting ways, negotiating sole source. They can't do that anymore. In fact, they're going to have to write a whole dissertation if they do something other than buy through GSA. So bottom line, 60 days, every single government agency has to come up with a proposal of how they're going to transition all of their procurement to GSA. That is huge, guys. That is huge. And I'm going to tell you in a minute why it's huge, but I'm going to define this stuff, okay? All right, now the second thing is, within 90 days of the date of this order, the administrator shall submit a comprehensive plan to the director of OMB for the GSA to procure common goods and services across the domestic components of the government where permitted by law. Now, let me tell you how that's different from number 1. Number 1 was he's asking all government agencies to come together and create a proposal of how they're going to transition their procurement over to GSA. GSA has 30 days from the day they get that report to tell OMB, Office of Management and Budget, the money people, they have 30 days whereby they have to respond to OMB to say, hey, this is how we're going to procure all this stuff. Now, I know, we're getting ready to, 10 times our procurement, but I'm going to show you how we're going to be able to do that with these GSA schedules. All right. So GSA schedules, Oasis, 8 stars, all of those GWACs. All right. Now, here's the stickler for all of you IT people out there. Within 30 days of the date of this order, pursuant to the authority in 40 USC 1130T, the director of OMB shall designate the administrator, listen to this, guys, as the executive agent for all government-wide acquisition contracts for information technology. The administrator, in conjunction with the OMB, shall defer or decline the executive agent designation for government-wide acquisition contracts for information technology when necessary to ensure continuity of service or as otherwise appropriate. All right. So bottom line is they're saying, I don't care if you like it or don't like it with all this business you're about to get, Mr. GSA schedule. But you can only decline being the executive agent. Guys, the executive agent for all government-wide acquisitions based on technology. So, in other words, if you're not on a GWAC, if you don't have a GSA schedule, you're going to be SOL. There's only 4% of small businesses that are on it. So let me tell you what's getting ready to happen with those 4% businesses. This happened in the 80s. I was there. I was part of it. Back in the 80s, when the 8A certification first came out, there were only about 100 companies, and I probably did 50 of them, had their 8A. But they got all of the business because it was mandatory that people have 8A subcontracting plans as part of their purchasing, their procurement, their contract. All right. So now you got a small group of people getting all the work. That's what's getting ready to happen with small businesses. Okay. Whoever's on the GSA schedule is going to be rich. You know why? Because if they're already on the schedule, they're going to already start getting task orders. If they're not, it's going to take you at least a year to get on it now because everybody's trying to get on it. So the best bet is to go ahead and get started on getting the process of getting on the GSA schedule. And yes, I do GSA schedules. I have two options. I have the option of coaching you once a week, for 6 weeks. I'll go over the material. You'll do the homework and we'll go over it in class the next day. In 6 weeks, you will have submitted your GSA schedule. The other one is I do it for you. I do everything. You give me 3 or 4 documents, I create everything else, and I get you on the GSA schedule. All right, so that's my little plug. That's my little commercial. However, y'all need to understand that right now is the time. If you plan on getting government business, you have to consider getting on the GSA schedule, guys. I don't know that you have an option. With open market going away, you're going to see less and less and less and less of open market opportunities. Even though they may still be out there on SAM, they may be indicating to them, hey, I have to be transparent about I'm going to buy these things, but I'm only going to buy it off of this particular contract vehicle. Okay, guys? So at the end of the day, all of you and my colleagues are laughing at me, right? Well, not that laughing at me. They're like, oh, okay, I get it now. I've never been a person who thought that relationships were the best way to become government contractors. I mean, relationships are important. They are. But the life cycle of a relationship to get to the level that you need it to for sole source contracts, that's a 2 or 3 year process. Okay. I have always chosen to compete. I'll compete at the table. I'll take my chances because now I'm doing business the only way that you can do business with the government. There's got to be a submission of some kind. So even with the relationship, you still have to have a submission. So if you don't have $250,000 or $300,000 to pay for business development services, the best thing to do, the only way to communicate and to do business with an agency is to do business with an agency. So you've got to start learning how to be competitive. And that's what this is. Even though they're making it a lot easier for small businesses to compete on the GSA schedule. Okay. They're making it very, very easy to compete. The fact that there's going to be a lot of competition. One of two things is going to happen. They're either going to reduce small business set-asides because they can't procure them. Nobody's bidding on the bids because there's only 4% small businesses out there. The rest of the big boys. Okay, so they're either going to do that or they're going to open up everything and call everything full and open, meaning anybody can bid and whoever comes in with the best price or the best methodology, that's who we're going to go with. So either way, you're going to need to be prepared. You're going to need to learn how to compete. So I've got all types of products and services. Y'all go to my community. www.lindachatmon.com gets you everywhere. It gets you to my community. It gets you to all of my products and services. It gets you to my store. But at the end of the day, I have everything that you need to weather this storm and to get you ready for what is about to be a very, 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 very lucrative opportunity for small businesses that are on the GSA schedule. Okay, guys, that's all I got for you today because I wanted to take it in bite-sized pieces. And so I'll be doing another one on the other executive order, 14275, which is the common sense one. I'll break that down with you for you as well. But in the meantime, guys, make sure you go out, take a look at that executive order, and please understand that time is of the essence. If you don't have a contract vehicle, get on one today.